It doesn't.
It didn't really hit me until now because my coworkers started messaging me. I lost my appetite after that. I still haven't had a call with my manager yet, but my biggest takeaway is don't let your job work you. What's even more messed up is they laid me off right before rewards and bonus season. And also, they're deducting my severance pay from like 2 weeks or something, so I'm really not even getting that much severance. And yes, I work at a big tech company. You can probably guess where I got laid off from. Also, they laid me off at the beginning of my vacation as I took off, so I have my severance package, but I can't receive it until I return the laptop, the corporate card, that stuff. But how am I supposed to do that? And I lose access to any work-related information this week. And I'm not in New York. Corporate America really gives zero shits about you. They worked me to the bones for a high-value client and then just got rid of me. So, yeah.
Company-wide layoffs that were happening where WPP is trying to consolidate a lot of their media agency silos. So like we knew that there was going to be layoffs happening and the client is under review. So yeah, I had a feeling my job was going to get cut, and unfortunately it did, and I just moved here to New York City. I mean, yeah, I mean, I expected it.
So I got laid off on Thursday. Today's Monday, and I have a lot of thoughts. So let's talk about it. For reference, I'm 28 years old. I've been working in corporate America for, 8 years. I graduated college in 2018. And this is my second, technically third time getting laid off if you include a furlough from COVID. I was not expecting it at all. I was pretty blindsided. But I am super, super thankful for this layoff versus my last one. And let me explain to you why. The last time I got laid off, I was 24 years old and I had just purchased my condo. So my first piece of property, the only piece of property I own, I used most of my savings to purchase it. It's truly my biggest accomplishment. And 2 months later, I had no employment. I vowed to myself from that moment on, I would never let myself feel so scared and so hopeless ever again, because I truly wasn't sure what I was going to do. Like, I was like, I think I'm going to be on food stamps. And my parents, just for a backstory, like I had no assistance getting my house. My parents sent me dish towels as a thank you present. Like I 100% did this on my own. So it was 100% my responsibility to figure out what I'm going to do. With that being said, I then met my now fiance a year and a half later, and I live in his house and we rent out my property still. So we do make a little bit of rental income. I also teach Pilates and I own my own Pilates grip socks business. And I have done this weekend what is called redistributing my calories, now knowing one of my sources of income will be diminished. So I guess my biggest piece of advice here for women, because that's who I'm really talking to, but truly anyone, is do not put all of your eggs in one basket. I don't care if you have the best corporate job in the world. I don't care if you think you have the job security. I used to tell people that this was the job I was retiring to, and I absolutely got blindsided by this. But I do not have to worry about how I'm going to put food on the table or what I'm going to do when I wake up tomorrow, because I have 2 other sources of income, 3 if you count my rental, 3 other sources of income, but 2 other businesses, teaching Pilates and owning my Pilates sub company, that I can now put more of my calories in and redistribute while looking for more full-time work. I am not saying quit your job and going all in on being an entrepreneur. If that suits you, great. But I love corporate America. I've always loved the stability of it, but do not put all of your eggs in one basket. I don't care if it's a hobby, an interest, something you might kind of be interested in. Dive into it, explore it, and figure out how to monetize it, because truly you never know when you're going to get a random meeting on your calendar that you're going to get laid off. I'm not trying to fearmonger. I'm just being realistic. And it's really important just for your character development and as a person to have like a multifaceted personality, to be able to have hobbies that I've been able to monetize and take as something outside of work. I love teaching because I work from home and it gets me out of the house, but I also know I can kind of flow in and flow out of it as much as I want, depending on what I need in my life. So like truly, if you have not already, like especially everybody, but really women, like, because that's who I'm talking to, like, Find something you're minorly interested in. It does not have to be the fire that's lit under your ass. It doesn't have to be your be-all, end-all passion project. You don't have to be obsessed with it every day. You're not going to be obsessed with anything every single day. But you need to find something that you can lean into and just figure out additionally, like, how you could monetize that, like, what you can grow from it. It doesn't have to be your own business. It could literally be a side hustle, but, like, truly find a side hustle, find something else. So in case you ever need to, you can diversify those calories because you never, ever, ever know when you're going to need to lean into it.
The thing I need y'all to remember is that when your company decides to lay you off, in most cases, you're not going to have any notice and they're just going to cut you out of all of their systems, like what happened to this gentleman. Now he's scrambling. He's trying to get a hold of his different contacts that could be helpful for him in his next job search, but that's a lot harder when you don't have access to any of your accounts and the company owes you nothing. And I've given this advice before because the same is true for any projects you've worked on, any work samples. All of that is gone the second they cut you out of the system. So let me give you a couple of tips. So if you find yourself unexpectedly out of work, you're prepared for that. One, make sure that you are maintaining like contacts, people that would be helpful to you in the future. You need to have their contact information somewhere else. You can do that by forwarding the emails to another email account. You can get a CRM. I use this one called Dex. You can write them down in Excel. You can make an address book, make a little Rolodex, whatever, but you do want to keep up with your contacts from each of your jobs. Second tip I'm going to give you is you need to be saving those work samples. Again, you can email them to yourselves. You can copy and paste the relevant portions and put them into a personal Google Drive, but you want to have access to some of the things because in the future employers are going to ask you to see work products as part of the interview process. And so you want to have things that you can point to. And the third thing I'll say is like when you get praise at work, you get shout outs, screenshot those things, save those things because these are things that you can reference in the future. When they ask you for an example of what people you work with say about you, you've got a long list of things because you've been saving those. If you need an introduction to a job that you're interested in, these are people, the people who have been fans of yours are the people you can go to and say, hey, can you intro me for this opportunity? These are examples you can pull from for interviews when you're in behavioral interviews and they want to hear about times that you've like solved problems or things like that. So like start a brag book, keep up with it, and do this before you need it.
너 왜 울어? 문제 있어? 무슨 문제가 있어? 엄마한테 말해.
I need to tell my mom that I got laid off. This is not going to be an easy call. We're going to just FaceTime her from my phone.
여보시오.
뭐해?
가게에서 일하지?
아, 오늘 가게 일하는 날이구나.
어쩐 일로 전화를 했어요?
아이, 전화한 지 오래됐잖아, 우리가.
그래서 잘 지내고 있나요?
잘 지내고 있지.
왜 그러지? 너 왜 울어? 문제 있어? 무슨 문제가 있어? 엄마한테 말해.
진짜 엄마한테 하고 싶은 말이 아니었어, 이게. 근데 오늘 회사에서 정리해고 당했어.
아이고.
생활비도 어떻게 지낼까? 엄마는 맨날 나만 걱정하잖아. 그래서 더 걱정시키고 싶지 않아, 나는.
아니, 괜찮아.
그래서 말 안 하려고 했는데
말
내가
안 하면 안 되지. 안 해야 돼.
그러니까 엄마니까 그래도
그렇지.
엄마한테는 말하고 싶었고.
울지 마. 할 수 있어. 할 수 있어. 너 혼자 찾을 수 있어. 걱정하지 마. 괜찮아. 울지 마. 그리고 그 레이벌 디파트먼트에 가가지고 엄마하고 아빠는 걱정해본 적이 없어. 다 너 잘할 거라고 생각했어. 괜찮아.
고마워. 엄마가 그렇게 말해줘서 너무 고마워.
너도 더 좋은 잡을 찾을 수 있어. 걱정하지 마.
계속 열심히 하고 있었지만 지금부터 이제 더 열심히 하고 내 자리를 찾을 거야.
사람들은 그런 일 한 번씩 다 당해. 이게 나를 좀 더 스트롱하게 하는 그런 거야. 그러니까 절대 실망할 때 말고 더 좋은 잡, 이 기회가 너를 더 좋은 잡을 찾을 수 있게 하는 그 기회일 수도 있어. 필요하면 언제든지 엄마한테 말해. 필요한 거 있으면. 오케이? 부족했던 잠도 자고 어디 이제 그 어디냐 그 도서관 앞에 지금 꽃들도 막 필 때잖아. 꽃 구경도 가. 그 튤립 필 때잖아.
미안해 엄마.
파이팅. 파이팅. I love you. 힘내.
So UPS announced yesterday they were going to lay off 20,000 workers before the end of this year. Here's everything I do as quickly as possible. So first off, they actually made an announcement earlier this year that they were planning on closing 10% of the facilities by 2028. This was due to restructuring the company, getting rid of Amazon. This was an announcement. However, yesterday's announcement's a little different. So the company's citing two reasons, according to their earnings call, that happened recently. One of them being they're getting rid of 10% of their Amazon volume, and the other one is massive disruptions in the supply chain. Again, I've said this plenty of times, guys, but if you want to know the future of transportation, look to the longshoremen, because what do we deliver? Commodities, trinkets, toys, goods, all of that stuff. Guess where it comes from? I think you know. She also said that while Amazon is the largest customer, it's not that profitable. So let's talk about those numbers. So total, Amazon accounted for 20 to 25% of the total volume of UPS. Now, however, they were only about 12% of UPS's total revenue, okay, which was about $10.7 billion. So basically, they announced the layoffs. They also said that because all of the uncertainty in the market, they have stopped with their predictions. And this triggered a response from the workers, because obviously 20,000 workers getting pulled, that's 20,000 livelihoods that directly affects the union. Union President Sean O'Brien had this to say: UPS is obligated to create 30,000 Teamster jobs under our current national agreement. If the company makes any attempt to violate our contract, UPS will be in for a hell of a fight. Yes, so there was an agreement in the contract that we were supposed to get new jobs by bringing in more volume from the post office, etc. What kind of fight? When the fight will take place, I don't know. We will wait and see further responses from the union as this thing plays out. That's it for now. There's a lot more I want to say about automation, technology, and Amazon in particular, but I'll save it for the comments and the caption. So let me know what you think. Thanks.
So I think I'm being laid off from my job today. If you couldn't tell by my appearance, I have been crying all morning. I haven't even had my meeting yet. But I got a calendar meeting today from someone I've never spoken to at the company, and a bunch of other people did too. So I am recording this because I feel like a lot of people can probably find comfort in knowing they're not alone. So we will see. Maybe it'll be something positive. Maybe I'm not getting laid off, but I am shaking.
That does impact your position. Today is going to be your last day.
I've loved my time here and I'm very thankful for it, so I appreciate it. I did not think that that would be my last day. My laptop's not even working anymore for me to like save things like.
So yesterday I was laid off for my job, my very cushy, very nice trucking job. And that's all good. I got 2 interviews. I'm on my way to one right now. They're both better paying jobs. One of them is even closer to my house. But that's actually not what I want to talk about. Yesterday, while I was on that phone call, one of the drivers that was getting laid off, he said, "Hey guys, so you request a 2 weeks notice from us when we're going to leave. In fact, last year I did give you 2 weeks notice. I decided to leave. I found a better job and I put in my 2 weeks and you guys talked me out of it. You said, no, we're going to give you a raise, which you did. But I would be in a much better job right now. But you can't be bothered to give us a 2 weeks notice. Hey, you're about to lose your income. We have to give you, a multi-billion-dollar company, 2 weeks to find our replacement. But you can't be bothered to give us the same courtesy." The boss said, "This is not a decision leadership makes lightly." And the driver said, "That's not what I'm asking you." Then he said, "There's not much more I can tell you. I'm sorry things are the way they are." And that was that. Let this be a reminder that you can be as loyal as a dog to a company. And when they decide to let go of you for whatever reason, they're moving on. And there's nothing you can do about that. And also, we're done giving 2 weeks notices. Courtesy is a two-way street. And if I can't expect that from you, don't expect it from me. Have a great one.
I got laid off today. And the entire time I'm just like, in my mind, I'm like, this is all a part of God's plan. This is all a part of God's plan. Like, yeah, it's sad, but it's also like, I can't be sad if it's God's plan. Like, it's written already. This is just a part of God's plan. And I have to accept that. And I did accept it. I was just like, you know what? No tears. Like, I haven't cried because there's nothing to cry about. Like, this ain't the first time I've had to face something like this. But I think what's different between now and those other times is I'm equipped to deal with it. You know, mentally, emotionally, spiritually. My faith is built for it, tough babes. There's no breaking me down. And honestly, I like this energy. Like, I call it the sink or swim energy, where it's like you're either going to sink and be sad, or you're going to swim and flourish. And I'm a swim and flourish type of girl. So So I like this energy because it always pulls out like this monster in me, like this hella driven, hella focused, hella disciplined. Like I only see the finish line version of me, and I love it. I'm excited. I really am. I'm excited to see where this next step is going to take me. And I'm excited to share the process with you guys. Honestly, like I share everything else with y'all, so might as well share this part too. That's the life update. I got laid off, but now I'm a full-time content creator, and that's my dream. So let's just fucking do it.
This week didn't start how I expected. I got laid off from my fashion design job because of the economy. But honestly, I knew I had two choices: stay stuck or step up. I choose to move forward, to show up for myself, because no job or title gets to decide my direction. I do. Every rep, every breath, it's me building something stronger. Not just my body, but my mindset. This is a new beginning. I'm not starting over. I'm starting better. And I'm just getting started.
I busted my ass and I was just laid off. These companies do not care about us. They want us to give us a 2-week notice, but yet can just fire us and ruin our lives on the spot any day that they choose. I have a 2-year-old son, no savings, which is my fault, and it doesn't fucking matter. So now I have to go back on the job hunt, and I have to get a work from home job because I have a 2-year-old that I have to take care of. Can't afford daycare. Rent is $2,500 where I live. Now I gotta find out how to pay off my lease early, because there's no way that we could afford to live here. I don't even have a computer. They just locked me out of my computer. You know, I really thought that the culture at my job was great, the best that it's ever been. And for them to just lay me off, not even based off of performance, because my manager just shouted me out today, saying I'm doing a great job, and then fired me.
Investors often like to call McDonald's recession-proof because McDonald's has made it through every recession, every economic downturn in America and come out glowingly. Usually their sales spike during these times. Well, McDonald's is down 3.6%. That's numbers we already have. And if it's down for another quarter, you can expect the fast food industry to start making major cuts as a whole. The CEO of Chipotle has already said that every economic class that shops at his store is pulling back. So whether you make 30 grand or whether you make 300 grand, you're not shopping as much as you used to. Obviously, with the middle class being the majority of that. But with the job cuts we've already seen, I think fast food is up next. And God knows what that's going to do. I don't think anybody realizes how many people fast food employs in the United States. And we have tech layoffs that are coming too. I would go look up and see what the CEO of Uber said recently. That I need you back in the office 3 days a week. And if you don't like it, there's a robust job market waiting for you. Which, I mean, that's just a threat to anybody. But some pain is a coming.
Sad to say, your role's been eliminated, and your last day will be April 11th.
Okay. Well, I am sad to hear that. It's been a pleasure working with you guys. I definitely learned a lot. I'm sad to hear that, though.
I know. This is something I've been hoping that our team, since we're so small, that we could avoid. But leadership has just been pushing on this and kind of forced us into this action here.
Okay.
You know, it's nothing personal. Everyone likes you. You know, you're always friendly. You've got a good attitude. But at the end of the day, it's tough. I didn't expect this. You know, when we offered you the role, had no idea of how things would kind of turn with the new CEO, new CIO, and of course the new administration making changes.
Right.
I imagine this is pretty shocking.
Yeah.
Take some time. Hope that you just continue to do what you're doing and keep working for the next couple of weeks and end on a good note, and we can be references for you. Wish you the best, and if there's anything either of us can do, let us know.
Okay, I will for sure. Like I said, it's been a pleasure working with you guys, and thanks for the feedback and things like that. If I have any questions, I'll definitely reach out to you guys.
Okay. Thanks, Sierra. Feel free to take a little time or long lunch, whatever. Just think things over.
Okay.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you. Sorry. Bye.
I just got laid off about an hour ago. I cried for a while, and I think the hardest part about it is I loved my job. I cared so much, but like knowing that you put your full effort towards something and then feeling like they decided it wasn't enough or it wasn't worth enough. Like right now, I feel just very like um, not even undervalued because I clearly am not valued, but like that all of my effort wasn't good enough or it wasn't important or it wasn't relevant. I got laid off today and it's just I don't know. And LA is burning and their fires are everywhere and I got laid off and I don't have a job. So like in perspective, it's not that big of a deal. There's other jobs, but it goes so much deeper than not having a job. So yeah, I don't know. I'm jobless.
And this time, it seems like it's actually the PMs and managers that are in danger. Microsoft is cutting around 6,000 employees, and this is the biggest round of layoffs in the last 2 years. Apparently, they're claiming that these new job cuts are not related to performance, but this is pretty hard to believe, especially when they're hiring like crazy and performance review cycles have just been completed. Instead, these layoffs seem to target non-coders, aiming to increase the number of coders per project, which Microsoft internally calls its PM ratio. For example, Microsoft's security boss currently has 5.5 engineers for 1 PM, but his goal is to reach a ratio where it's 10 engineers to 1 PM. Overall, you can kind of guess what these cuts are for, and it's investments in AI. In 2012 to 2022, Microsoft grew its headcount by over 10%, and Google actually grew it by 14%. But since 2022, with the launch of ChatGPT and more AI, it stayed flat. It should be quite interesting to see how these other tech companies follow suit, and unfortunately which roles get attacked next.
I saw that Intel made a recent announcement that they were doing a RIF, a reduction in force, of about 20% of its workforce. Its workforce is 109,000 people, in-person staff, so that is roughly 21,000 jobs. I also saw that UPS plans to cut about 20,000 employees. I know this is kind of old news, but that's going to be one of the largest in U.S. history. So then I decided to hop over to the U.S. Bureau of Labor Statistics to see where we're standing so far this year. It looks like 1.8 million people were laid off or discharged in February 2025 alone. That brings us to 3.5 million layoffs and discharges in 2025 so far. That's pretty big. So far, just January and February is what the data has been reported. Layoffs and discharges total 3.5 million, and that is 2.7% higher than the same period in 2024. In February 25, that data that I had given, so the 1.5 million, that looks like that stands for about 1.1% of all employed people. That's huge. So when I dig a little bit deeper, the layoff and discharge rate was highest in the professional services industry in February. Second to that was construction, and then information, leisure and hospitality, retail, trade, transportation and utilities, manufacturing, wholesale trade, financial activities, education and health services, mining and logging, and then government. So again, a lot of us think that all of this is happening in the government sector right now, but it's not. It's happening a ton in the private and public sector as well. And so just something to think about. And if you're an employer and you're thinking about doing this, I come alongside organizations and help them determine who should be RIFed and at what frequency, and make sure that it's set up appropriately so that you're legally protected and then employees that are impacted are taken care of. So reach out. I've got an HR firm, Salt and Light Advisors, and we're happy to help.
Happy Monday. Just got fired. Holy shit. I thought it was just like a normal routine meeting. And no, it was actually we're not moving forward with your employment. And you know what's so funny is like when you think that you finally find like a good job and like a company that cares about you, you're like, oh my god, I actually work for people that care. No, you don't. That was like the only stable thing that I had going on in my life right now. Whew, I was not expecting that. I would have never put money down on that happening. I literally just thought that was gonna be a meeting. Happy Monday.
Hi, my name is Melissa, and I have recently been laid off, like so many people have in this economy. And like so many people in this economy, I have opened an Etsy shop. I'm coming out here on TikTok to speak to my friends, anybody else who happens to get this on your For You page, to say, hey, would you like to come out and see my stuff? There's not much out there, to be perfectly honest. It's just a few things. I wanted to gauge people's interest and to see or to hear back from people giving me creative criticism, telling me what works, what doesn't work, because I honestly need that. I was at my job for a long time, so I'm still trying to puzzle my way through this new reality that I'm facing. And yeah, the name of the shop is Cat's Eerie, and I'm going to put it up in my bio on my TikTok page. But if you would like to come out and check it out, please do so. And just let me know what you think, and just send me a message, send me a DM. I'm trying to get better at responding to people. Like I said, I don't like talking very much. I'm a very quiet person, and so doing something like this is truly outside of my wheelhouse. But please, again, check out the Etsy shop, send me messages, whatever, hi. But yeah, I will see y'all on the flip side.
I've been trying to wait on a moment to like pull myself together to process what I'm feeling. And I was laid off from my job today. I was I can't say that I was surprised, because we had a few people laid off on yesterday, and I knew in my spirit that it wasn't over. I knew that they weren't done. I was the last person that they laid off. Like, I'm not necessarily crying because, I lost my job, but it's, you build friendships, these people become family, and, it's normal, it's natural to worry about the unknown. And my family's already in a way financially where my husband and I have been doing the best that we can to provide not only their needs, but, their wants. And God has made that possible. And I know that this has to be a God thing. Even if it's not a good thing right now, it has to be a God thing. Because I have nothing else lined up. I have no other prospects. Before yesterday, I wasn't expecting to lose my job. I was making plans for this year concerning my job and my life, and I wasn't expecting to lose my job before yesterday. And I'm like, Lord, I know if my name came up that you have a plan for me and my family. So I don't know what that plan is, but I know my requirement is to stand. Even though I don't know the answers, I don't know what's going to happen, I have to stand.
Stand on the word of God. Stand on Romans 8:28. Stand on Jeremiah 29:11. Stand on Philippians 4:13. Also stand on Philippians 4:12. And I have to know that God is still worthy to be praised, even in trouble. This is just a new way of trusting Him, because I don't have a job for the provisions. That's not to say I'm not going to look for something, but I'm putting my trust in God, because this is out of my hands. And I don't know what our future is going to look like. I don't know. But what I am sure of is that God won't see us hungry, homeless, or go without. So y'all just pray for me. Pray for my family. And I'll keep y'all posted.